Hello farmers, my name is Dr. John Basera, Seedco Chief Agronomist. Improving maize productivity is a major driver as far as attaining food security and food surplus is concerned in Africa. But to achieve a sustainable improvement with regards to maize productivity, two tenets are important. Number one, you should always start with the right seed variety. Number two, you should always adhere to good agronomic practices. Today we want to talk about good agronomic practices, and there are 11 keys to successful adoption of good agronomic practices in maize. And the same principle, it also applies to other crops. Point number one, you should always start with a well-conditioned soil. Well-conditioned in the sense of pH. pH is a measure of the quality of the soil. It's a measure of alkalinity and acidity of the soil. You should always start with an optimum pH range of between 5.5 and 6.5 on a calcium chloride scale. There's a very important relationship between the pH and the nutrient uptake, the NPK uptake, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash uptake. When your pH is low, say it is below 5 or 5.5, then the soil will lock away the nutrients for the crop, and the nutrients will not be available for the crop. And it will result in poor yields. It will result in poor uptake of nutrients from the soil. So you should always lime your soil to sweeten the soil, to up your soil pH to around 5.5 to 6.5 on a calcium chloride standard. Point number two, you should always start with a well-prepared seedbed. Well-prepared in two forms. Number one, the depth of tillage. Number two, attaining a fine tilth. Fine tilth is important to achieve seed-to-soil contact. Seed-to-soil contact is very important and very fundamental as far as achieving a good even stand is concerned. Point number three is that you should always start with the right seed variety. The right seed variety for your cropping system and the right seed variety for your area, for your agroecology. Choosing the right seed variety can make or break a farmer's season. And choosing the right seed variety is one of the most important decisions a farmer can make in a season. If you do it correctly, you'll be smiling all the way to the bank. If you do it wrongly, you'll be frowning all the way to the bank. Choosing the right seed variety entails two things. Number one, you should always aim for a variety with a higher yield potential. Number two, you should always purchase a seed variety with good defensive agronomic package in terms of drought, in terms of diseases. But ultimately, the yield will come from three things. Number one, it will always come from the cob length. The longer the cob, the more the yield for the farmer. Number two, it will come from the high row number. The higher the number of rows, from 16 to 20, then the more the yield for the farmer and the more the profit for the farmer. And ultimately, shelling out percentage, very important. The more the shelling out percentage, then the more the proportion of grain for the farmer. Remember, we are farming for yield. Whenever you are farming for yield, you should go for varieties with high shelling out percentage of more than 80% up to 87%. Point number four, you should always attain optimum population densities in maize and in low potential areas. In terms of rainfall, we recommend 36,000 plants per hectare up to 44,000 plants per hectare. For you to achieve that, here are the spacing configurations. At 90 centimeters inter-row space, we recommend an in-row space of 28 to 30 centimeters. In high potential areas, we recommend population densities of 50,000 plants per hectare up to 60,000 plants per hectare maximum. For you to achieve that, you should adhere to the following spacing configurations. At 90 centimeters, we recommend 20 to 22 centimeters in terms of in-row. At 75 centimeters, we recommend an in-row space of 23.5 centimeters to 25 centimeters. Ultimately, yield will come from two important aspects. Yield per plant, which is catered for by the breeders, and also yield per unit area, which is the one that pays the bill for the farmer.